So in closing this section on the history of the code, it's important to understand that I'm not in any way trying to advocate that we change the alphabet or we change the spelling. I am trying to say that there's a correspondence between the confusion that's in this code and the kind of difficulties that are experienced by a struggling reader. And that it's important for us to really understand that. The deeper we understand that, the more we understand the direct correspondence between code confusion and the start-stop hesitations we hear in the voice of a struggling reader, the more that's really clear to us, the better that we can sync up with a struggling reader. So it's important that we do that. Well, unfortunately, there's been a kind of paradigm inertia about this. For reasons connected to the 1906 debacle, the thing with Theodore Roosevelt and how all that went down, the idea of changing the alphabet or spelling became kind of like communism in the 1950s. Are you a spelling reformer? People that were advocates, even people like Mark Twain, I mean, really heavyweight, significant folks that had aligned themselves with, attempts to reform the code in one form or another, kind of shrank back from it, like it was a silly thing to do. Not because they disagreed with its underlying rationale or the need for those kind of changes, but it became this subject of ridicule because of the way the press had handled it back in that 1906 days. And that pervades to this day. In my conversations with leading researchers and scientists, it's one of the things that's most amazed me is the immediate disconnect that happens when you want to talk about the correspondence between code confusion and reading related difficulties. In addition to you're not going to try to talk about reforming it dismissal, and that's what happens. The idea that you even want to talk about it suggests that maybe you're talking about reforming it. And because reforming it is such an inconceivable thing, given all of the consequences that would go with it, reprinting all the dictionaries, encyclopedias, and books, and disconnecting one generation from another generation. I mean, it's so inconceivable that we could ever change this thing. So in many cases, people say, well, we can't change it, so you're just thinking about it. Well, we really differ with that. In addition to the paradigm inertia connected with the dismissal about affecting the code reform, fixing the code, there's another one, which is that in the outgrowth of the reading wars, as the reading wars developed, the core contention between the two, in a way, was about the code confusion. Whole language is a way to try to jump over it. Phonics is a way to try to train the brain of users to work with it, to mess it as it is. And the more that we understand that, the more that we understand where this technology came from, how it came to be so confused, how it is confused, how it works, now it doesn't work, right? Then the less that we can entertain blaming the children as if there's something wrong with them. I mean, this is where the shame piece connects to the code confusion piece, right? I mean, the only reason that we can continue to create an environment in which children feel ashamed of their minds because of their difficulty with this is because we're ignorant about where the source of that difficulty is.